Good morning, good morning, good morning once again. Welcome to the next episode, the fourth episode of your weekly cannabis news show with your host, Phace. Welcome to Burnt in Early. Give it up, give it up, give it up. Once again, I'd like to take a pause. If you are not partaking of cannabis, why not? Go ahead and get down with it. Roll up, eat an edible, do something. This week on the show, we're going to talk stocks, infusing, and the cannabis market right now. We're not talking about buying and purchase. We're talking about the business side and actually getting into the business. We're talking fair market and how hard or is it hard to get in that business right now. So let's start it off with stocks. We got Aurora Cannabis in and off with $3.16, OGI with $1.36, Sundial Growers 48 cents, Canopy Growth $6.11, and Intracure ending off with $6.15. Once again, advice to anybody who's trying to get into the cannabis stock market: be very careful, but don't be timid at the same time. Put your money in, knowing that the market can fluctuate. Sometimes it can be volatile with the fluctuations, but always be mindful with that. Do your research on anything you invest in your money into, and watch it. Be patient and watch your money grow. Once again, I'm investing into the 5 stocks that I do mention to y'all every week. I watch them and I watch them grow. I don't have anything major right now in them, but I do own at least a share or so in each of the 5 stocks. So I'm trying to make my stock portfolio with cannabis grow. So as I grow and get more information, I want to continue to bring it to you guys. So if anything transfers over to new information about the stocks that I can get my hands on, I'll definitely try to be the first one to get it to you guys so you can put your money where your mouth is or put your money where your weed is. So let's go forward. This week we're going to continue on to infusing drinks and food. Being cannabis has become how can I say, a more wide scale used herb nowadays. We're seeing more cooking shows and we're seeing a bigger fluctuation of people using it in their foods. Not only just for the taste aspect or the euphoric aspects, but just all around to spice it up. So I've been watching cooking shows for the past 2 or 3 years. And depending on the type of cooking show, it depends on the type of stuff you're going to see, the type of innovations you're going to see. The main cooking show I used to watch used to come on, I believe it was called the Vice channel, and it was called Bong Appetit. Once again, it's called Bong Appetit. On this show, they specialize in infusing foods and drinks and having a big dinner party at the end after they described or what they were talking about or a different culture of food they were talking about. And it was just a panel of different people who tried the food and different chefs every week, a guest chef that help prepare the different infused foods. So going forward, let's talk about what infusing is first. Now, infusing isn't it the same thing as an edible? Edibles, like if you're making an edible brownie, you can actually just grind up your marijuana and put it in there, and that's your edible right there. Or there's other more chemical processes to get into gummy forms or gums or cookies or other stuff like that. But with the infusing, it's a different process. So let me break it down in scientific terms for you. So when it comes to cannabis, infusing is the process of extracting THC from the cannabis plant or cannabis plant material in a solvent like water, oil, or alcohol by allowing the cannabis material to remain suspended in a solvent over time. So basically, you're taking the plant or the part of the plant you want to try to extract the THC from, leaving it in said solvent, water, oil, or alcohol for a set amount of time, and you begin your extracting process or your infusing process. Once you extract your THC from it, then you can go upon and use that element with your food. Now, when infusing, some meats and some food are harder to infuse, or not, let me say harder, but the taste element is harder to tell, or it's the effect that you're looking for by infusing foods with cannabis. It won't be the same effect on some foods rather than others. Now, when it comes to infusing drinks, the process is basically the same as infusing with foods when it comes down to it. But I think when you infusing drinks, your possibilities are endless because you can go alcoholic drinks, you can go non-alcoholic drinks, you can go health drinks, you can go non-health drinks, you can go sports drinks. It's a a veritable cornucopia of things you can do when it comes to infusing when drinks. Now, food, we already know all the foods out there. There's still drinks being created now. Now, recipes, you can mix up a different recipe and add infused foods in there, and you still get what you're looking for. But my preference would be infused drinks. If I'm going on a road trip or something and I can't take cannabis with me, I can take an infused drink and just sip on that. Once again, as I mentioned on previous episodes of Burnt and Early, and also previous episodes of the podcast, I drink infused teas and weed tea, cannabis tea. Does me just right. Those of you who have never done that, Google a different recipe. I got my own personal recipe. It works for me. I got it from online. If you're interested, go online, Google cannabis tea. Try your own at-home recipes. If you got some cannabis on the side you wanted to try something with, please believe me, it's worth the try. It's worth the experience. But if you do want to see different shows or get different ways or different techniques or try to how to infuse or learn more on infusing for yourself outside of this show, there's several shows. I don't know if they're still running, but if you Google them, go on YouTube, you can find episodes or full episodes of these shows. Show I already mentioned is Bong Appetit. That's Bong Appetit. The next show is Chopped 420. That's Chopped 420. The next one is Cooking on High. I repeat, Cooking on High. And the last one is Cooked with Cannabis. Cooked with Cannabis. Once again, I'm a natural all the time. Inhalation, a method smoker. I like blunts. But just to mix it up, sometimes I do it with the infused and edibles too. So if you just want to try a different experience out there because you've been smoking for so long and you love cannabis that much, you just want to delve into something else with dealing with it, try an infused drink. I don't know where they be found locally near me, but I know you may be able to find some in DC. I know they have a lot in the different stores on the West Coast, California stuff where it's fully legal at. But do your research. If you find out where they're sold locally in Virginia, let me know. I would love to find a place I can go to on a normal basis and just get a stock and just keep for myself. That way I don't have to always try to go on that hunt. Those are just listening. If you find somewhere that does sell infused drinks, let me know. Each one teach one. Now let's move on to my main topic this week. We're going to talk about the cannabis market and get into it. In the news recently, and I'd say for the past year or so, different news outlets have been talking about the big businesses and how they're attempting to control the cannabis market, and small businesses aren't allowed to get in, or it's being hard for them to get in. Or, on the other hand, those who've been proportionally punished for that aren't seeing any benefits of it become legal on the business side. I feel it's that way with anything big, new coming to the element of business or being capitalized on. That's the way it's always been. Big business always gets their hands in first. But if we're in the effort or in the passion of changing things, and that's the way society wants to go, let's start somewhere like cannabis. Why not? How about we give grants to those who are trying to get into the business who have passed cannabis charges, non-violent cannabis charges. Give them business grants that don't have to be paid back so they can actually try to start their cannabis business. Put out there the outlets where people can get these cannabis grants and business loans. I know some banks will not deal with people trying to get into the cannabis field unless you have a certain amount of capital. That's their business dealings. I can't say nothing because every business has their own right to set their policies and procedures. But when it comes to fairness and trying to be, once again, fair, and everyone trying to get their hands on the money when it's free, it's there to get, why not allow people to get these business loans from all banks? All banks need to open up the cannabis business because, once again, it's projected by 2024 that the cannabis industry will bring in $1.3 billion of revenue for the country. And it's not even legal in every state. $1.3 billion estimated by 2024. That's only a small percentage of what could be there. So Banks, realize how much money you're losing by not allowing yourself to do business with cannabis companies or people who are trying to form cannabis companies. I myself are very interested in the cannabis vending industry. I feel that'd be very big. Doing my own research on that, so one day hopefully I can get my own business in that field, because with cannabis becoming legal as it is in so many states, the opportunities for vending is endless right now. Right now, getting into the market would be a little hard, but I'm not up for the challenge at this time. So I'm trying to build my steps and do my steady research as the laws become open and laws become more free. So when I choose to put my foot into the game, I don't have so many obstacles against me. As I do my research for other small businesses trying to get in, and the media outlets are putting focus on them, their only problem is not capital. Their main problem is, I hate to say it, it looks, and the way the media puts it is racial. Me myself, I'm not big on. I try not to be on everything's on race, because I have a different view of the world. I was raised in I wasn't raised all around just black people. So me having the experience I have with a multitude of different cultures, I see that it's about money at the end of the day. It's not all about race. It's about the dollar. And if you have the dollar, you can make the change. You can get in the lane you need to get into. But when the media gets into it, they like to take a bad spin and try to keep that negativity and that divide going with the country. Smarten yourselves up, man. It's not about the race or skin color. It's about the dollar, and the color of that's always been green. So those of you who want to get into the business, I say get your capital first. A good way of getting into it, get your own land. If you are in a state or in a community where growing is legal, get you a good piece of land and start growing on your own land. That way, if you have your own steady stock of cannabis, that way, next step, if you want to open a brick and mortar business, you have the stock you need. So you don't have to do the research of trying to find a supplier, because you're your own homegrown supplier. Start your business that way. Start at home. Cut off the middleman of trying to get the stock. If you control the stock, all you need is the avenue to get the actual business license and the actual brick and mortar building. It's an easy way into it. Find alternative rights, to get to your goal. A lot of people these days want to get into the cannabis market, and they want to follow, how can I say it, the beaten path, or the path that's already put there. As we see in every other business venture, there are a multitude of ways to get that dollar, or become successful in these other realms. If we want to take music, not every musician has taken that same route to attain their fame or that wealth they seek, or they sought, I should say. You look at academics. Not everyone went the same route as far as that academic level. In the business world, not everyone took that same route. So why in cannabis does everyone think they have to take this same route? Because y'all keep meeting these same obstacles and have the same problems. Take a different route, man. Right now, everything is becoming open. You still have restrictions against you. So find out where your loopholes are. Find out where your opportunities are and take advantage. Sure, big businesses is always going to have upper hand, because they have the big business. They have the bigger dollar right now. So they have the money to make things move in their way. But if you create your own niche lane, a spotlight is put on you. And then because you're the creator of that niche lane, you get to maneuver, you get to dictate where it goes and what goes on from then on. So try to be an innovator in the field of cannabis. Don't just try to follow that beaten path of, I just want to be a person who opens up a dispensary, open up a store just to sell weed. Do something different. If you want to be an innovator, go to the infused thing. Get an infused drink shop. Do something like that. I don't see an infused drink shop. Like I say, I'm looking for a place that sells the infused drinks myself. There are other people like myself out there too. So if you have the idea, you can get in that lane right there. You're still in the cannabis industry, but you'll find your niche lane. I feel the problem with a lot of people that are trying to get into the business is they try to do the copycat thing and do, once again, that beat it path and see what they saw other people do that got their success. If you flood the market with the same ideas, the money is not going to fluctuate like you think it is, because you got the same ideas, this man over here and this woman over here. So I don't have to continuously come to you. You don't build no customer loyalty. You want to build customer loyalty in this new market, because when you get your clientele, they'll continuously come back to you. They'll know your product, they know your service, they know what you offer. That way you can build a business on that. I'm not gonna get into deep or try to how to do your business, because to each one his own. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I have different streams of revenue, and I try to improve on those daily. So I get my advice from others. I just try to give advice to those who are willing to listen. But as far as cannabis news, that's it for this week. Short episode. To say no new laws this week. No cannabis story either. But we're working on getting one of the other partners to come on an episode of Burn Early and tell one of their funnier cannabis stories. I'm working on Pat right now, trying to get him to come and tell the story of our first cannabis story together. If we can get that going, I can definitely guarantee a great episode on that one. As usual, want to let everyone know you can find the full episode on Anchor.fm of All Partners Podcast episodes. That's Anchor.fm for All Partners Podcast episodes. You can also find us on YouTube as well. Google us. Go to our webpage, thepartners.com. Also check out RTrayClothing.com. That's the only place to get any partners merchandise. RTrayClothing.com. Come get your original AC83 gear and your partners podcast merchandise as well. Use promo code PodSquad83, all caps, PodSquad83, all caps, to save 15% on your order. This has been Phace with episode 4 of Burn Early. Go ahead and intake on something, man. Cannabis is legal some places. It may not be yours, but it damn sure is mine. Have a good day.